What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It's been a few days, as some of you have let me know as well, by the way. Welcome back. Match preview time for, how many times have we said it this season? But let's just say it one more time. Huge game ahead for Leeds United as we find ourselves in the bottom three after Monday's results, which was brutal, brutal as hell. Leeds United versus Newcastle United. Big game, huge. And for me, I know Big Sam was talking today about it being a must not lose, but for me, we got to win this one. And just a few things he was saying as well kind of lets you know that if we don't win this one, those pipes may be being warmed up. And you know whose pipes I'm talking about. Um, Shout out Katrina, new member of the channel. Let's see if any of the team are up for the fight in the next three games. And congrats to JB and Mateo Joseph for being selected for the under 20 World Cup squad. I didn't know that. So shout out to them. Lewis, it's not looking good, bruv. You know what I mean? You know what it was, Lewis? You know what it was, everyone, about Monday's results? And I know this is going back for a few people, but for me, they kind of like only happened yesterday because I've been thinking about them that much. But it was just the ease of how the teams around us were scoring goals. I know Leicester lost in the end, and it was a pitiful loss. If that was us, people would already be signing our warrants to go down if we conceded the way they did against Fulham. But it was the way that Everton just went about their business, so much so that you had some people thinking that Brighton were on a match fixing thing. Guys, it's not that. It's just that teams around us showing fight. That's what it looks like. And because we've seen very little of that, it kind of looks like everyone else is, wait a minute, are they not trying against that team? No, it's not that. It's just that we've been that poor. And that's why we finally find ourselves in the bottom three, where I think, quite frankly, a few of us thought we should have been weeks ago. But now the results have finally caught up to us. Now it's all about these players now having to do something for themselves. That's the scary bit now, isn't it? It's all well and good looking at everyone else's results and going, well, Brighton should beat Everton on Monday, and then 5-1 later, it's like, oh damn. Forest taking care of Southampton. Just the ease of the goals that were being scored. And my thinking was, I can see us now going up against Newcastle and huffing and puffing. You can see Jack Harrison trying to bulldoze his way through two players, trying to get in across on the 75th minute as we go for one goal. And everyone else is just scoring at will. You're seeing goal scoring midfielders as well, something that we haven't seen properly this season as well. Just so many things that just went against everything that is currently going on at Leeds United right now. Boy, it's it's all mad, isn't it? You're looking at other even players that aren't that good. They're stepping up at this point, and that's what it's about. It's not about the fixtures. It's about who wants it more. And we saw Newcastle lose against Arsenal. They'll be licking their wounds, but we should have more fight in us. We've got to have more will to win to keep our Premier League status. Newcastle will probably finish in the Champions League spots. Cool. We're trying to stay in the league. Some of these players are fighting for their Premier League careers because some of them are not coming back. Some of them have had 2 years more than they should have had. They're not coming back. So we'll see. Michael is saying we must win, but we won't. I can't have any trust in this anymore onto the rebuild next season. I hear you. I hear what you're saying there. Katrina saying, I think Rodgers will fight. I think he will. And going by Big Sam, what he said today, he was asked about Bamford and Rodrigo. And I'm just paraphrasing here, people. If you want to see it, it's on the Leeds United official website. But he mentioned something about it's not the systems that don't work, it's the players. And he mentioned it specifically after talking about Bamford changing for Rodrigo. So I do wonder, I think Rodrigo starts well. And for me, I said it on the last video I did, he has to start the game for me. If you want any chance of staying up, put your best forward in. And at the moment, it's Rodrigo. And we'll talk about Bamford as well in a bit as well, just in regards to that tweet that he liked by Izzy Brown. I mean, the company you keep, right? The company you keep. Tom saying here, Rodrigo has the heart for it. He's definitely got the heart, but on top of that, Tom, he's got a quality that he can finish. And that's quite important where we are right now. We need goals. So, I mean, Jazz is saying, forget about it. Jazz ain't having it. Jazz is saying, I don't think we gain any points in the last three. We'll see what these guys are made of. Look, when they've slipped in the bottom three previously, they've got themselves out of it, but we're at a different point in the season. This isn't March. This isn't January, February. This is now. This is it now. This is it. This is where your wages get halved. This is where some staff may have to go. This is where you're looking at other people who you look at every day in the club, training and everything else like that, seeing, damn, if we go down, whatever it is I was planning for next year might not have to happen because my wages are going to get halved. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how much fight these lot have got. We'll see. Um, Crypto Steve saying Big Sam not denying Gray could be considered when asked. It I don't see why he shouldn't be. And he said the same thing that I have. It's not about how old they are; it's about how well they'll play. And with someone like Archie Gray, he will have less pressure. You see, he mentioned today about big lead boots, and I mean, it was so perfect because that's how it looks that some of our players play. Sometimes they look like they play with shackles around their ankles because they're all scared and possibly not good enough as well, which he kind of alluded to today in words as well, if you listen to it. But yeah, Gray would come in and he'd be a breath of fresh air. Him, JB, a few of them, but not too many. I saw someone go too far the other week in my comments say Jack Jenkins. All right, slow your roll, buddy. Let's not go too far. You know what I mean? But Abstract here saying it's over, man. Why are you streaming? Well, my question to you, Abstract, is why are you tuning in? Eh? um Yeah, Gil Archie Gray can be that box to box eight. He could be. He could be. I mean, I talk about goal scoring midfielders on Monday. Decore 1 minute, and then what was it, 19th, something like that. Anyway, I thought we would have seen a few ones by McKennie by now. But in all fairness to McKennie, he hasn't been deployed in that role most of the time he's been here, which has gone against him a bit as well. But we haven't seen anything from him in terms of goals. Rucker, I mean, when was that last time he scored that goal? I can't even remember when it was. Brendan Aronson, just no goals from midfield people, and it's not really good. It's not really good, is it? Abstract saying because misery is better shared, and that's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. As long as you're tuning in, right? As long as you're tuning in. Bob's here. Afternoon, KG. You think it's done if we don't win? Bob's. You know what? Over the last few days, man, I tell you, I've been coming to terms with it. I'm not saying it's over by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really not. But there's just so many things that are saying that we're not going to survive. And I looked at. I know it's something so small, people, but you just have to go with my crazy thought processes here. When I was looking on the Leeds United website and I was going through the squad, first of all, I went from 1 to 6, and I looked at those players and thought, where else do these guys play in the Premier League? Nowhere. And that's our issue. It's the squad makeup of the team. I mean, that's Melier down to Liam Cooper, and in between there, you've got Ailing, Furpo. Maybe he would go somewhere else, maybe on a different system. For sure. Robin Koch, I mean, who thinks he can go to Newcastle or Spurs, but you know what I mean? Just down the first bit of the app, and I'm like, damn, it's no wonder where we are. But this is why I said when we finished the first transfer window, if you can remember, people, that I felt like we were going to finish 16th, but with a few more points on the board because I think that we'd score enough goals, but our defense was just not good enough. And it comes to roost that whew, it wasn't good enough over the season. But you have to factor everything else, injuries, mentality, and we just haven't done what we're supposed to. When we go through this at the end of the season review, we'll go through it all, man. We'll have a big stream on that. Jim Howson with a super chat. Thank you for that, buddy. Anyone else notice Shade Sam drop Bamford Reeve 4-5-1? That's what I just mentioned it, Jim. You mentioned about systems aren't the problem, it's the players in them. And hey, Bamford could call out one of our previous managers. He gets called out too. And Big Sam did play football, so I guess he's got a right to, right? We'll see, and we will talk about that a bit later on. In terms of that. I mean, in fact, you know what? We could just talk about it now since we're on Bamford. And Don J here saying Bamford deserves all the shade. And I talk about the Katrina. Hey, this is something that I was going to talk about here. We talk about Bamford. If you've seen it, he liked the tweet by Izzy Brown, just talking about people, I guess, like myself and other people that haven't played the game at the highest level. How can we talk about people who do play at the highest level? And he kind of like that. But it's always these kind of things with Patrick Bamford, people, which is why he's one of my, if not the most unliked player that has ever played for Leeds for me. There's no one I've disliked more because of just the way he carries himself. I, d- he thinks he's something else when he's nowhere near that. And I'll say that as someone that's never played at Premier League level, Patrick, and there's nothing you can do about it. But the thing is, it's always things like this that come up with Patrick Bamford. If it's not him saying that he'll be back for Brentford and Brighton last season if the team needs me, like he's Benzema, if it's not other things like him missing loads of chances, if it's not him after going goals, games without goals in the championship and then getting a vital goal against Millwall, then cupping his ears instead of celebrating, it's things like this that crop up with him. He can't help himself. We survive at the end of the season last season. About 2 lines of his end of season post about the season. The rest of it is about his lightning shoes. You know what I mean? And this is the thing for me. Katrina here saying the amount of people supporting them though on Twitter, so much nostalgia talking. Some players robbing the living. Patrick needs to understand that it goes both ways. When people are praising him, when he's getting loads of praise for that season he had where he got 17 goals, finally got into the England setup, I was bigging him up. But does that mean it doesn't count because it's just me? Does that mean that my opinion doesn't matter as much as somebody who's played the game? No, you'll take it. And also, what other people need to understand is the adulation that these players get, like Katrina was talking about. I'm even seeing it now with Stuart Dallas. He's now getting that. He's been out the team so long that we've forgotten how much he stunk up the joint last season thing. He was terrible. Left back, right back, he was awful. He was as bad as Junior Firpo, but he's got the equity of promotion, so he'll always get the revisionist. We do miss him. But this is how it goes in their favor. This is how some of them have been able to stay at the club so long where they shouldn't even be here. Because anytime that any of them do anything right, Ayling passed the ball 5 yards correctly. Oh, he's the best ever. Stay forever, Luke. It all gets seen, and then you get things like a year extension. Because otherwise, if it was by ability, a lot of these players wouldn't be here. So it goes both ways. And with Bamford as well, in terms of Bamford talking, I'm sure if he gets a bad meal at a restaurant, he'll say to the chef, this wasn't good enough. But then the chef will turn around and say, well, where's your cooking license? You can't tell me nothing. I've cooked this to perfection. I'm the chef here. It's funny, isn't it? Criticism and praise. When it goes for you, you love it. It gets you a bigger contract because you can go in contract negotiations and say, see, these fans love me. You need to keep me here. Works for you in that way, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Nabino, would you finish against Leicester with his special shoes on? It's not just that though, isn't Nabino? I've seen that come up a lot as well. Like this is his only big chance he's missed. Who can forget when he actually, what was it? He was put through. No, not put through. That's too easy. The one where it was put across and he put it behind him instead of just sliding it in the goal. There's so many instances of that. There's so many instances, but the problem is I'm talking to a small audience here because the people that love him are the majority of Leeds fans. For whatever reason, they'll always love him no matter what. And it is because of the promotion stuff. You're always going to have equity with that, as we're seeing with players that are clearly not Premier League level, but people still pander for him. They still pine for him, don't they? But Bamford, he can like that tweet all he wants. If he was better at what he was doing, he wouldn't need to worry about that. He'd still be getting praise that he was getting 2 years ago. But that player was never going to stay here. And that is why when so many people left me, I've been saying it a lot lately, but when a lot of you left me, when I said that we should sell him, when Arsenal Spurs were interested after that season, this is what I was talking about. It was never going to happen again. And we've had even worse returns. Let me just get something up for you people. Let me just get this here. And I've limited this here to forwards. Okay. It doesn't really make much difference because when it was all players, he was ninth anyway, joint ninth. But this is big chances missed in the Premier League this season so far. Look at the names on this list here. Haaland, Nunes, Rashford, Watkins, Salah, Jesus, Ivan Toney, and then here comes Bamford. And just below him, I just want to highlight Callum Wilson as well. And of course, Che Adams, oh man. And Harry Kane with 11. But the most important one there is Patrick Bamford with 12 big chances missed. And you look at all the other people now, okay, the people will say, well, look at Erling Haaland, he's missed 26. Yeah, but he's also scored 50 goals, people. Ollie Watkins, He when him and Bamford were going for those England places, it was neck and neck, wasn't it? You could flip a coin and say whichever one you wanted. Ollie Watkins has gone clear because even though Ollie Watkins has missed 18 big chances, people, he keeps going, and he'll score goals. Salah the same, Gabriel Jesus never been prolific anyway, but he's got his fair share of goals this season. Ivan Toney, we don't even need to talk about this guy. And I really wish I was on YouTube when Ivan Toney was available for 8 million, because I was pining for this guy, for Leeds United to sign this guy. And if not Leeds, Sheffield United or Everton, someone to take a chance. In the end, it was Brentford in the Championship, but say less. But here's Bamford here, joint eighth, yeah, with 12 big chances missed, and he's got 3 goals. So before he goes on about people that can't play the game or anything, look at your other fellow people that have missed big chances but have also stuck away a few. I saw Kai Havertz has missed the same amount as Patrick Bamford, but you know what? Havertz has got 7 goals, and if Bamford had 7 goals from some of the chances he took, we'd be in a better position. Brendan Aronson would have more assists to his name. Tyler Adams would have more assists to his name if he could just finish his chances, but he can't. So when you want to deflect the blame for your poor performances, oh yeah, Jesse Marsh's fault. It's everyone else's fault that you can't control the ball or that you look like you're running in quicksand. But yeah, cool. But the facts are there, people. Facts are there. But he'll always get people defending him no matter what. No matter what. Paul Gray, 12 big chances, missed 3 goals scored, unacceptable. Paul, it's that's facts. It's absolutely unacceptable. The thing is with Ollie Watkins is not prolific, and he's not clinical either. He's not that. But you saw that hot patch he was going through where he was just scoring game after game, but he misses a bucket load of chances, as it says there, 18. And there'll be more in between that as well that aren't big chances. But he keeps going. He keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. This guy, he can't keep going. He doesn't have it in his locker. But hey, you people like this, it's like I say to people, man, accountability is in the bin for everyone. No one wants to take accountability. They want all the love when everything goes right. But hey, as soon as anything goes wrong, no, you can't say anything. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know what's going on in my life. Oh, okay. But it was all good. It was all good when you getting 17 league goals, yeah, when there was no fans about. Is what it is, isn't it? Jeff is saying, thank you, Jeff, for the super chat. I would like to see the stats on clear chances missed as a percentage of the total clear chances. My guess is Bamford would be at the top of the list. Yeah, and I only use that as a visual just to put the point home. But we've seen it with our own eyes, the amount of chances that he's missed, the amount of times he's been put through and then looks like the stream's been muted because it looks like he's slowed down. But hey, what can you do, man? What can you do? James here is saying Bamford is overrated and toxic in the dressing room. He's a big voice, and this is a problem that we've got here, people. The leaders of this team, and I'm not including Liam Cooper in that, by the way. I'm talking just about in general terms of leadership of this group, which needs to be dismantled anyway. They're poor players. That's why, for me, I don't have any problems when the better players are looking at them going, can you really tell me what to do when you've never even had half the talent I've got? You know what I mean? It's very hard to listen to a leader that doesn't even have that kind of respect. And again, I always liken it to a regular job. Think about your normal job. If that your team leader isn't up to it and you know they're not, are you really going to look to them for guidance? You're not, are you? Robert Pennell saying Bamford lacks pace. But Robert, it's not the lacking of pace, because as you've seen from the chart, he's had chances. It's football isn't always about kick and run, because if that was the case, we need to have a team full of Dan James. You know what I mean? It's about getting into positions. The fact is, when he does get into those positions, most recently against Leicester, he fluffs his lines and then will come out in this kind of defense. Now, if he plays against Newcastle and scores, will he celebrate, or is he going to cup his ears again? That would tell you the character of the guy. Like I say, I don't have to like the guy for him to play for Leeds. I've always said that. I don't care if I like the player or not, as long as they do the business in a Leeds United shirt. So if he was the same person doing this now, but he was on like 14 goals, or you know what, 9 goals, I'd say okay. But he's not. He's not. He's not doing that. which just makes him for me just more unlikable. But that's just for me personally. Is I don't hate anybody, but I just dislike the cut of his jib. Um, what's everyone saying? What's everyone saying? Okay, Alex with a super chat. Thank you. Alex, remember at home when Bamford didn't hit the frame on goal versus Arsenal on his penalty kick versus man? Hey, you've Arsenal this too much, Alex. Let me try and decipher this one. Remember at home when Bamford didn't hit the frame on goal versus Arsenal on his penalty kick versus Arsenal. Okay, I got what you mean. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's just so many instances, Alex. There's too many, as you've seen there. That's big chances. That doesn't even count some of the ones where he could have ran through on goal, but because he's so slow, he gets caught up to and gets the ball just taken off him easily. But yeah, A&E changes subject, KG is depressing. Yeah, no, I just wanted to point that out, and that's why for me this weekend, more importantly, Rodrigo comes in, 100%. 100%. Alex saying, sorry, KG, too much coffee. I feel you, man. I feel you. Um, and just on the last bit as well, because I know he'll have his people that will defend him. Even his hold up players deserting him now. So what else? What else is there? But anyway, let's talk about Big Sam, because a few things that he said today were pretty important today, and one of them was, well, I knew this anyway, but Tyler Adams isn't going to be back, so yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Econ holds the ball up, KG. Hold the ball up, FC. That will get us the points we need. This it's a Leeds thing, man. It's a Leeds United fan thing. They don't think if they think if you're good at one thing that's okay. You seen just seen Jekko this week, good at holding up the ball, and he can still score the goal. And he's like 37 years old. It's always just one or the other. But hey, let's move off Bamford. Let's move off Bamford. Um, let's have a look. Let's have a look. There was something here. Yeah, can't afford to lose, of course. Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, Mister. Yeah, he's done. He's not going to be back this season. But I think it was pretty obvious with it being a hamstring injury that it was very unlikely. I think the door was just being left open for a bit of hope. So he was talking about just quickly just on this one that it was a deliberate ploy to divert attention away from him last week when he talked about Pep and Klopp. It was obvious anyway. I did say that, but he even said he got it from the school of Alex Ferguson, and who did it better than him. So it was pretty obvious he was doing it in that way, and it worked. In all fairness, he says the fear needs to drive them on. The fear of relegation, of losing Premier League status, it should make them fight. He's pleased with the attitude of the players. When you're hammered as much as they've been hammered, the lead boots come on. And the biggest thing that can happen on Saturday is that we don't lose. Then we've got a point on the board. If we get three, I'd be 40 to 50% of staying up. So yeah, for me, I don't agree with that though. I do think we need to win it, because he also said something else which was pretty damning, but it's something that we've heard before. It's something that I've said before on here. But he said that it's important that we go a goal ahead, because if we go a goal behind, it's going to crush. It's going to basically kill their confidence. I mean, we don't need to hear that, do we? Don't need to be hearing that. I mean, but it's so obvious, but it just makes you think, doesn't it? If Newcastle go a goal ahead on Saturday, is that going to be it then? Is that it? Is that the players then going, that's it, we're done? So for us, it's important that we go one goal ahead just to control the players' mentalities. This is so fragile, man. But I understand it's high stakes, it's high pressure. Some of these guys will never see the Premier League again, thankfully. But boy, to say if you go 1-0 behind, that's it. I'm sure other clubs down here aren't saying the same thing. But hey. It's Geronimo saying a lot of people seem to highly rate Greenwood. I don't see it myself. I think more to the point, Geronimo. It's more from what we've currently got. And he was asked about Greenwood today. He didn't actually point at him, and he actually said any changes that are being made to the team you'll know on the team sheet Saturday. So you're not going to get anything beforehand. But I think it's more to what we have, and Greenwood can take set pieces. And although his open play isn't the greatest, he can thread a ball through as well. So I would, at this point in time, if you're going to go with three midfield, I would personally put him in there myself, just for set piece material. Um, But yeah, and also obviously we didn't get an answer for Robles or Melier. But the more I think about it, keep Robles in goal. Don't change it. Why change it now? You know, if you see Melier on the team sheet Saturday, I don't know how many of you would feel confident, but will that break do him? You know, a bit of good is being on the bench, losing his spot. Will that fire him up to be better? Who knows? But at this point in time, I would stick with Robles. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me know in the chat and let me know in the comments after. Uh, Yeah, I hear you, Nabino. Don't like Greenwood as a CDM, but it's not his position to be fair to him. He came as a striker. That's the thing. He came as a striker, Nabino. But I hear you, not in the deep role, but maybe just a bit off the striker. I think that would probably be his best bet. Probably like a Roman 8. Put him in that kind of position. Ryan here saying, sounds like Sam will set up the same as Man City, but we need to attack as well. Just can't keep hoping to catch a goal on the counter attack. I don't think he's gonna do the same thing, Ryan. I think he said that it's different. Newcastle will be completely different from Man City. Obviously, Newcastle are not gonna hold 81% of the ball in this game, especially with us being at home. But he knows the limitations of the team, Ryan. To be fair to him, he knows. You know, you can kind of hear it with the way he's talking that he knows that this is a big, big ask to get out the bottom three. He knows it is. So if we do have to play a little bit more conservative, long ball, then he'll do that. He'll do that. He'll make that. He'll make that the way that we have to play. But I don't think it's going to be as defensive as it was against Man City. Um, Let's have a look. Yeah, a lot of you. Okay, lot of you saying that Robles has to start. Fair enough. If there's anyone familiar, let me know. Let me know in the chat, and I'll highlight it as well if I can see it. Renee here say, did Big Sam seem really deflated this morning to anyone else? Yeah, Renee, I got that. That's why I'm saying there was just kind of certain things he was saying that if you read in between the lines, it's like if we stay up, it will probably be one of his biggest ever achievements. But if we go down, it's kind of expected from what he's seen this week. That's how I feel about it anyway. And I'm with you, Renee. It wasn't upbeat. I mean, you're not going to be upbeat where we are, of course, but I hear what you're saying. There was undertones of just, you know, if these guys go a goal behind, it might be curtains. That's why it's important that we score first. We have to do everything. Everything has to go in these guys' favor. Otherwise, their heads are going to drop, kind of thing. Um, Oh, Mr. Tom. I see Mr. Tom is one of the conspiracy guys. Big Sam has the demeanor of a guy who didn't expect Brighton to throw it in against Everton. Mr. Tom, Everton just wanted it more. You just have to. If Leeds United went to Brighton and did that, we'd be singing our praises, wouldn't we? We'd be like, where's that been all season? The fact it's another team and you're not seeing that from Leeds United as of late, it's like, did Brighton throw that game? They didn't throw anything. Everton knew the circumstances. They knew what's at stake. They obviously had a big old team meeting, realized what was on the line, and put out that performance. That's what you do at this stage of the season. That is what you have to do. So yeah, it's not for me about Brighton downing tools. It's just that Everton wanted it more because they knew what was at stake. Getting out the bottom three at this stage, it's a mental boost. And you can imagine what going in the bottom three at this stage has done to some of our players' confidence. You can imagine. Um, okay, Mr. Tom, following up, just saying that is fair, but it doesn't make it any less irritating. Mr. Tom, what I would say to that, it's that is the reliance of relying on other teams to do our jobs, and we've done that for a couple months now, Mr. Tom. We've done that so many times where we've had a weekend where we've done so bad, but then other teams have it's like, we're still 2 points out of the drop zone. That can only go on for so long. It's time for these guys now. It's time for these guys to irritate other relegation rival fans and put in a performance against Newcastle and go, hey, how did they beat Newcastle when they've been rubbish all for about 2 months now? It's time for us to do it, Mr. Tom. But can they do it? That's the thing. And if they don't do it, the people you've got to be irritated at is this team, I'm afraid. James KG, do you think LeBron and the Lakers finish Golden State on Friday? Can't call it, man. Can't call it. Honestly, James, it depends which AD turns up. I mean, talk about frustrating, but it depends what AD turns up, man. Deshaun here, time to step up. Yeah, let me just see if there was. Yeah, let me just see if there's anything else of note that I want to bring up. No, there was nothing really of note. I think I've hit all the points in terms of that. So yeah, shall we get onto score predictions? Oh, by the way, I just wanted to say as well. I just wanted to say, if I don't know if you watched the game, the Real Madrid Manchester City game, but Rudiger versus Haaland. If if we could get defenders that were just 50% of Rudiger, I'd be happy. I'd be happy. Could you? I was just thinking, could you imagine any of our guys doing what they were doing to Haaland? Rudiger was doing to Haaland, getting on him, just keeping close, but making sure that the referee couldn't see it. That dark arts, just just beautiful defending. That's what I love. Those are my kind of defenders. Can you imagine one of our guys doing that? I did have visions of Pascal Strout doing that to Haaland. Haaland turning around and Pascal going, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to come so close." You know what I mean? That's how I feel like our defenders are, man. Just timid, man. Just soft. You know, just soft. But yeah, yeah, Paul. He is, man. Rudiger's a beast. You know, he'll let you know he's in the game. You can be as highly rated as you want. You can be as good as you want, but Rudiger will let you know he's about. And I love that. I absolutely love that. I know, Michael. It sounds insane, doesn't it? Defenders who can defend sounds good. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? But man, we'll see what we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens come the summer, man. Because either way, for me, if you're the thing for me as well is where people say that these players can possibly get us back up. If these guys are feeling this way about a relegation battle in the Premier League, why would we give them the pressure of trying to get us back up on the first go? Why would you put it in these guys' hands? And I'm obviously not talking about the better players like Adams or Nanto who will probably move on if we're relegated. I'm talking about the players that have been trusted from before we got promoted. Why would you put it back in these guys' hands to get us back up on the first time of asking? Do you trust them? I know for sure I don't, man. I know for sure I don't. Yeah, he might still be in Rudiger's pocket, man, but then he might explode this weekend against Everton, unless Everton beat Man City. Imagine that. Imagine the chatter about that. But yeah, listen, people, let's get into score predictions, man. Let's get on out of here. Yeah. Here we go. Let's go. Stehan is saying 2-1 to Leeds. Would love to see it. Karen is saying a 2-1 to Leeds as well. Oh, shout out to Mr. P and John. Oh God, I've forgotten. I've forgotten. John Abbott, sorry for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated. Graham Randall's going for a 1-1, Jammy 0-0. Laurent is going for a 3-1 Leeds. That would be nice. Stephen is saying 1-1. Yeah. Danjay 2-2. Dilip is going for a close match, but I can see he's winning 3-2. Yeah. Rekindle that 99 2000 spirit, man. Bow your bridges, Q. Love it. Ryan, man. Whoa. Well, I mean, Jesus. Ryan's going for a 4-1 to Newcastle. Lord have mercy. Ina is going for a 3-2 to Leeds. Okay. All right. And he's going 4-3 Leeds. Yeah. Man. Jeez. Man, I don't know. Can I just go without making a score prediction? Can you let me off? Oh gosh. Deshaun also going for a Newcastle win 2-0. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Ah, okay. Trying to jinx it. Got you, got you. God, I just can't see it. I can't see it. I'm gonna need them to prove me wrong, people. I mean, can I have like a an asterisk next to it? Like if Nanto and Somerville are playing, if he drops Harrison, starts Rodrigo, then I'd have more confidence. But I don't see that happening. Some people rushing me. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw, but I'm really hoping that we can get the 3 points. Honestly, a draw is no good for me at this stage. It really isn't. We need to get out that bottom three. 3 points, get the 3 points at home and move on to West Ham away and take advantage of it as well because West Ham are in Europe. Take advantage of that. But yeah, 1-1. But I'm really saying that out of not logic. I'm saying it out of hope because Newcastle are just a much better side than we are, and they will be licking their wounds after the Arsenal loss. They'll be very determined to put that right. So yeah, there's nothing about it that says we're going to get a positive result, but I'm going with hope on that one. There we go. 1-1, and that's the hope we have. Yeah, Andy saying Rodrigo Nanto up top leads when we need it. Yeah, I'd have a lot more confidence in that. It's just that with Harrison again, you get in the, Leicester game aside, you're just getting huff and puff from him again. But hey, he's been linked with Newcastle before. He impressed against Leicester. Maybe that's a storyline he'll want to follow up on and impress against Newcastle and show him that what he's capable of. Michael is saying no trust in this lot getting us back up. Must blood of the under 21s next season. Heart says 3-0. Head says 0-3. Yeah. I mean, again, not saying that we're relegated at this point, but I think it's just so close creeping behind us, isn't it? It's just like tapping us on the shoulder. And you guys know I don't like being tapped on the shoulder. But yeah, I would absolutely go with the Archie Grays, Charlie Creswell's. I don't know if Cody Drama is even going to stay here, so I don't even think he's going to be an option. But I just feel like there's other things that we need to do in the squad in terms of if the worst case scenario is to happen, and it would be to play some of our players that don't get played much. We'll have Joe Gelhardt back if he's going to stay on, which I think he will. Then he'll get more game time in the championship. I just don't want to think about it. I mean, just looking at the league, man, it's painful. It's so painful. Just seeing some of those fixtures, I don't even want to think about it. While it's still possible that we can get out of it, I don't even want to think about it too much, even though I have been thinking about it. But Lord, it's just ugly, isn't it? It's just a poor league, and we'll be back again being everyone's cup final again. But yeah, right. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, and I will see you all on Saturday. Look out, just stick a notification bell on. You'll know when I'm going live or when I'm uploading. Subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below, and I'll see you Saturday anyway, come rain or shine. Peace out.